This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. Look at that. It's a beautiful sunrise here in Djuma Game Reserve in South Africa. And a very warmer welcome to our lovely kiddies joining us from all around the world: South Africa, the USA, the UK, Singapore, and Japan, many more. There's some impala looking quite relaxed, I must say. Hello, everyone. It's me, Trishala, with Owen on camera this morning. It's a bit chilly. It's about 59 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius. And we've just heard some hyena activity around this area. But these impala looking quite relaxed. So there were hyenas giggling about. Now, hyenas make that sound. You'd know that sound. And it goes something like that, very high-pitched. It's actually a sound to let you know that the hyena is quite nervous. Oh, let's roll back a little bit because I see two impala rams having a go at each other. Just off to our left there, Owen. Now, if you have any questions, kids, you can send them over to us using kids' questions at WildEarth.tv. There they are. Nothing like a morning fight, I suppose. Especially if you're an impala ram at this time of year. They are just warming up at the moment, much like myself. There are many fights going on in quarantine right now. I can see 2 and I can hear 2 others. And now they've stopped to look around. Now this is the perfect time in the morning to listen around for what's going on, as predators might be on the move. So I'm going to send you over to James and for you to tell Dan to say good morning, and he can tell you about his plans.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to this part of what will be the sunrise safari soon. My name is James Henry. On camera is David. And we are looking and enjoying and listening to the dawn here. As Trish told you, we had some hyenas calling close by, but I don't know what they were shouting at. There are a couple of impalas looking pretty relaxed about life there. And the world is just waking up. There, they're calling again. They're just behind us. Let's move now quickly. It sounds like they're just through here. There's a road that goes around there. Remember to talk to us using the email address, kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. We will open the floor to those who are more mature in about 45 minutes. In the meantime, kids, questions about Africa, conservation, nature, anything you like, well, within reason. We'll do our best to answer your questions. I don't really have a specific plan today. I had hoped to find some wild dogs based on Trishala's quite epic efforts yesterday evening with elephants, Hukamuri the leopard, and wild dogs. But we'll see where the morning takes us. We'll try and follow up on these hyenas first, and then see what happens after that. A couple of impalas looking around, but they really don't look particularly panicked. They wouldn't be panicked just by hyenas, but they might be panicked if the hyenas were having at another predator, maybe a leopard in a tree, perhaps. Sounded like it was right around here. All right, let's go to Sean while we look around for our hyenas. He is up at andBeyond Ngala. We'll catch up with you just now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, where yes, you're with myself, Sean. Still got myself behind the camera. Now, we have an interesting day ahead, I think. Interesting day. What I'm wanting to do is see if we can find, obviously, those male lions again. I want to see if we can find the other Ross male, the second one, the one that was missing. Just to confirm, I want to see if he has any injuries. Any wounds, any cuts, anything like that, which could be from a fight if he did, in fact, fight that young male that Rowan found yesterday. I don't think so, but it will be interesting to find him and see. Also, obviously, we're going to look for that young male, see if how he's doing, where he is, what he's doing. I'm also secretly hoping he has joined up with the rest of the pride. Offer him a little bit of protection, hopefully some food as well. It'll be very, very interesting to see. We've gone past a few areas. We've got 1 or 2 tracks, both heading the direction that we came from. But we just want to search these areas. We've got some other people out and about looking for the pride as well, the rest of them. So it should be interesting. Another cold morning, not as misty as it was yesterday, which is nice, making our lives slightly easier. But still frightfully cold. I have a blanket, I have the heater on. So all of that is very good for us. It means we still get quite a lot of activity from the predators, be it lions, leopards. James was looking for the wild dogs. Would be very cool to see them as well. But I think this morning, at least, we are definitely going to focus on the lions this morning. Seems to be quite an interest, and Louise, I only have 1 pair of shorts on, but I have my nice blanket keeping my legs warm. Oh, okay. So while we carry on looking for these lions, we'll keep you updated, but in the meantime, Trishala has found something very interesting.
There certainly is some hyena action here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's actually 8 of the clan members around here, and they've actually gotten a kill. Now, for me, this looks like something that they have hunted themselves. It's on the ground. And it looks pretty fresh. Listen to them. They're squabbling over food. Oh, I definitely saw June. A couple of the younger members around as well. The cubs from last year. I want you to listen. You'll hear their teeth. And you'll also hear them squabbling. Stage fright, everyone. Now they've gone quiet. like to know how far we can hear the hyenas laugh from. That laugh is pretty high-pitched and quite brief, and doesn't travel as far as their whoop. And their whoop, I say I could probably hear it from about a kilometer, possibly even more. Maybe even 2 kilometers away. Oh, sometimes I might even say further than that. Their whoop is very strong. The laughs, high-pitched, but don't travel as far. This is awesome. I've obviously just made this kill. This is not far from camp at all. Hear some Franklin and a Cape turtle dove in the background. And the grass is quite long, so I'm finding it a little bit difficult to ID everyone just yet. I'm quite sure I saw Comet, one of the clan males. I saw June. I think I saw Sutu as well. Oh, there they run away. With that carcass. Hi Eli, you're 11 years old from Tokyo. You'd like to know if hyenas sleep in the day and hunt at night? Typically, they will rest up in the day because, like all predators, they can easily overheat when they expend themselves in the hot sun. So they like to wait for the cooler parts of the day. Now, sometimes that is the night, but not always. Actually, it's the best time to hunt is just as the sun rises or just before. Oh, it's an impala male, a ram. And just as the sun sets, those are good times to hunt. Okay, I see Swazi as well. So some of the youngsters are here. These are youngsters from the year before and the following year. Oh, there the rest of them are now following. Now there's quite a thick drainage down the west here. Very cool. All right. I'm going to send you over to James for an update while I figure out where I can position to get the best view of these guys.
That's a fascinating thing that's happened there, isn't it? And I suspect that that's not the first impala ram that clan has killed this season. 2 or 3 times we've been back to the den, they've had a head or a piece of impala there. And I'm sure they're actually doing quite a lot of killing themselves. I'm not, in fact, talking about that covey of Franklins. They don't kill a lot of impala. In fact, I wager that covey of Franklins has never killed an impala in its existence. Not the adults or the babies. I'm talking, of course, of the Djuma clan. The crested Franklins are almost exclusively seed and insect eaters. Poor old obsessed male impala, not paying attention to life. I imagine that his friends are probably laughing at him because to be killed by hyenas when you're as fast as an impala just means that you were either fast asleep or being an idiot. So hyena, while it is a phenomenal predator, is not going to rival an impala for speed. And therefore he must have been set upon by a very stealthy group of hyenas, or he must have just not been paying any attention whatsoever. And I suspect it was the latter. Really interesting. Nice also to see that the Djuma clan doing some hunting. We're heading down the central parts of the reserve now, just seeing what we can see. There were rumors of lions contact calling on the dam cam earlier. Every other time we've had rumors of lions contact calling on the dam cam, I have failed to find even one track of a lion. Well, that might have to do with my eyes rather than the dam cam's ears. Is that a lion track? No, it is a hyena track. It is very cold this morning, for us anyway. Apparently it's 15 degrees Celsius, which is 59 Fahrenheit. But it feels a lot cooler, and as we head to the lowest point on the reserve, I suspect it'll drop to about 14 or 13, which, as far as I'm concerned, is frigid. Oh, is she talking? What'd she say? Hello? I wondered why he was so silent. Okay, I've got you now. I've got you now, Louise. This earpiece is not in a good way. Aurelia, in Australia, you're wondering why impalas fight. They fight because they want to have all the ladies to themselves. So at this time of the year, they are fighting over the female impalas. And in fact, we're going into May now. Well, we're in May. And so the mating is going to take pretty much now. And so they're all competing against each other to try and have as many wives, basically, as they can for the short season that they're available. And so that's why they're fighting. And because of that, they're just not paying attention to anything whatsoever. Good. Let's go back to the 8 hyenas and the once happy and living but now dead impala.
I thought he was going to say the happy and living Trish, of which I am both, but luckily I'm not this dead impala. I also managed to see another clan male, Luca. It's nice to be able to see them because we don't see the males very often. Saka, I think, also around. Hi Siddhartha, you'd like to know how many different species of hyena we get. You're 11 years old from India. There are 4 types of hyenas. Just listening out. We get the spotted hyena, that's this one here. There's also the brown and the striped hyena. You may get brown hyena in the reserve. Striped hyena, not really. In fact, I don't think it's been seen in the reserve. Aardwolf, also another type of hyena, has not been seen in the reserve. So for us, spotted and brown. Spotted is by far the most common. Okay, they've moved a little. Let's move to somebody dragged the carcass off and then chased everyone else away. Typical. Hi Noah and Ines, you're from Japan. You'd like to know how impala can protect themselves from their predators like hyenas. Hyenas are a little bit different. It's difficult to defend yourself against a hyena. So the cats. So you have a leopard after you. Leopards rely on ambush. That means that they wait and lie and sit and watch you and then pounce. So if you are seen, yes, our troublemakers, if you're seen, you lose that element of surprise. So the defense for the impala there is to alarm call. You don't really hear the ba, ba, because then that lets that leopard know, oh no, my cover's been blown, and now I can't use my strategy. But hyenas don't hunt like that. Hyenas will run through a herd and manage to snag something. So in that case, impalas have to run really fast. Impalas can run quite quickly, about 80 kilometers per hour, sometimes a little quicker if they're really pushed to it, sometimes a little less. And a hyena, not that fast at all. You're only looking at between about 40 and 60 kilometers per hour. But they can run for a long time. So that's how the impala will have to defend themselves against them. Hi, Emma and Bex from Cape Town. You'd like to know if the hyenas will share their kill with other clans? No ways. No ways. They defend their territories and stick to their clans fiercely. Oh, I have a friend coming past me now. Hi, gorgeous. I love hyenas. Very nice. I guess there's a few. Still some behind us. Hi Stella, you're 9 years old, you're from California. You'd like to know what's the average lifespan of a hyena? It is between about 12 and 15 years, but in a zoo or other animals in captivity, they can actually live till about 20. Tell me that's not some of the cutest faces you've ever seen. You know, they're such gentle creatures. Of course, you have just seen them with a kill and crunching on bone using their very strong teeth. But they are gentle creatures. Curious, gentle creatures. And now, what do you want? Are you after my tires? Or are you after something behind me? Hello, Soto. I need to now pick the best spot to view them. I've got 2 in front of me, 3 behind me, which leaves 3 more somewhere else. I think one who could have possibly been ribbon, I didn't see her distinctly, but at a carcass she would dominate. Someone has dragged that carcass down. Hi, nice to see you. It smells delightful, everyone. It smells absolutely delightful. It smells like wet dog mixed with a little bit of death. Ah, they're all back. You come back, everyone else has got the food. They're having so much fun, I love it. I'm going to send you over to Sean at andBeyond's Ngala. Now they're behind me, so I'm going to try and reposition very carefully. Let's go over to Sean instead. Hey guys. Hey.
I mean, what a cool start to the morning with some hyenas on a carcass. Very, very interesting stuff. And for her to be surrounded at the end, that must be quite cool. Our lion search has not paid off just yet. Haven't found any newer tracks, which is good. So we saw the ones heading down the road. We then drove a bigger circle in an effort to see, where those tracks may be cut off. So we're going into open areas like this, which will open up a bit more now. This might be an area where they might call in the morning, like we heard yesterday. We haven't heard anything yet. Marcel says he did hear some way earlier this morning. So we have stopped to listen, but we never heard anything. So we're just driving slowly around, looking for any new signs, see if we can figure out where those tracks are heading. We got a few ideas where we believe, where we're going to go and look, where these lions do tend to head. It's like over time, like 3 years, you learn sort of the lions will have a path. Obviously they will vary from that, but they have a general route where they travel around the reserve. Especially like now, we believe the Ross males came in from the west yesterday. That's where their tracks come in from. And then they come this way. But while we look, it sounds like Joshala's got some more interesting activity with those hyenas, so we're going to send you back there.
So much interesting activity. I'm just going to be quiet and let you listen. I think, boys and girls, this is what we call playing with your food. I don't see a ribbon here. So that's why I think everyone is in a bit of a frenzy, because if she was here, she would dominate this. Oh, they're right in front of me. I think they're also just having a bit of fun, which is awesome, awesome, awesome.
All behind the tree.
Check that one in the distance, with the sun behind it.
Got to walk the lens.
Just doing a little wipe of the lens. And June is the one that's growling. Right here in quarantine. This is... Oh! Looks like our male comet is actually getting a little bit bullied at the moment. Hi, Isis. You're 9 years old and you're from California? I'd like to know, how large can clans be? Well, clans can be anything from just a matriarch and her offspring, maybe just a handful, maybe just 5 individuals. But they will have a smaller territory. And then clans can also get quite large. Our clan is about 20 or so. Actually, with the changes, it might be a little bit less. And a couple more with ribbons too. And they can get even larger than that, but not too large, because remember, they've got to keep a certain hierarchy. This is awesome. So clans in different places can be larger if resources are scarce. Territories can be larger, and maybe there'll be more clans. Off they're running across quarantine. Right, let's go and see. Sorry, Lou, my earpiece just popped out there. Okay. Hi, Kay. You're 10 years old and you're from Tokyo. Can a hyena get kicked out of its clan? There's definitely potential for that, but it actually doesn't happen that much. For example, though Koki was overthrown as matriarch, she's still part of the clan. Her rank's just been lowered. But males actually don't even get kicked out. They decide to leave the clan, because if they're within the clan, they don't get to mate. But if they stay in the clan, they don't get to mate. But if they leave the clan, then they can mate. I'm just going to get the sun behind them. So they'll decide whether they want to stay in the clan and get a really good rank, keep their good rank, or they could leave the clan, get really thrown down the ranks, but then have the ability to mate. That's June off with the carcass there. Some hyenas, like male hyenas that are born to the matriarch, they enjoy a very high rank. So that means that they get preference at carcasses, for spots to sleep in, etc. But if they stay in the clan where they can enjoy these perks of being matriarch's son, like Plonk has, then they won't get to mate within the clan. And the whole idea, the whole point is that you should be able to push your genes forward, and the only way you can do that is to mate and have babies. So comfort and luxury versus doing what my biology is telling me to do. Most animals will leave their clan, males, and go ahead and mate at other clans, even though the rank will be quite low and they can't enjoy any preferences. Alright, I'm going to catch up with these buggers. Gosh, I love them very much. I'll send you over to Taylor at Karongwe so she can say good morning to you guys and tell you her plans for the day.
Hello? Are they talking to me? Oh, I didn't even know they were coming to me. Apologies. Hello, everybody. I'm here saying, must I put him against my black jacket so that you can see what I'm about to show you. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Alex Shapiro. I have no call with Final Control, just by the way, but it's no problem. Let me tell you a little bit about this man that I have. It's not a man, it's a creature that I have on the stick, which you can have a little look at. That's always a fun time. I don't know why I seem to have lost Final Control. But here, to all the children who have joined us from all over the world. It's a praying mantis, but it's not fully grown. I'm going to put my thumb next to it for a size comparison. It is very small, so you can see how small it is. And this is what we call a nymph, which is kind of a baby. I'm going to answer the phone. Hello, Louise. Louise is directing. I'm now talking to her. Right, so here we go. It's a baby praying mantis. Now, it doesn't look very scary right now, but you can see it's got its little arms pulled back. It's very cold right now, and I think it's a little bit scared. I don't think it's quite happy with being on the stick, but I will release it. But one day, it will turn into a ferocious predator. But it kind of looks like it's like an adult does now, so they don't have to change in any way. They just grow basically new skin, they shed it, and then they get bigger and bigger. It is very, very cute. It's looking at all of you now. Look how big those eyes are. So what it does, it likes to catch flying insects. That's why at night time you might be able to see them if you go near a light and watch all the moths and all the other kinds of bugs flutter around the light. You'll see them shoot their arms out and grab them. Now, we are actually at Giraffe Game Reserve in South Africa. Sarah, who is all the way from Singapore. So you are looking at a South African and a South African praying mantis. Isn't this amazing? Yes, so we're in a reserve not too far away from Hoedspruit, from where James is this morning. And I think it's Trishala that's on drive. We're about 110 kilometers away. Not really that far. I could drive there quite quickly if I wanted to, but we're going to stay here, I think. And then I will release it. I wonder, can you show them the little tiny barbs that are on this praying mantis's legs? Do you want me to bring them closer? I'm also going to... There goes my cell phone, but it's fine. It's hanging from the cord. Is that too close? Have a look. So I was just talking to you about how they shoot their arms forward and grab their prey. I'm trying to hold it as still as I can. But not only does it use those arms like a little harpoon, they've also got these tiny little hooks on them. So if they catch a fly, that fly is not going to go anywhere. And then they've got very sharp mandibles, and they'll devour their prey. Yum! This one needs to eat a lot, though, while it's little. This is quite fantastic, and it's got quite big legs, too. But I don't know how old it is. Maybe it's a couple of days to a few weeks. They're all they're all hatched together in one type of egg casing called an ootheca. It's a weird looking thing. If I see any of them on Game Drive, maybe if some of them are hatched, I'll see if I can't bring it along and add it to my box of things to show you what their little egg casing is. It's kind of weird. Very strange looking anyways. But it's nice to find these. It's not only that we have to have lions and leopards and cheetah on Game Drive, we can also look at these smaller little predators too. Sometimes it's hard to find them while you're driving around, though. Right, I'm going to send you across to James, who's got something much larger than I and the praying mantis.
Look at this monstrous elephant that's walking past us. He's in full must. He's got two very broken tusks. He seems to be on a bit of a mission. Let's try and get back and get a good shot of him. He's one of these old fellows who's seen a few things in his life. He's pretty relaxed for now. Turn around here so we can go forward. He's going to come out onto the road now. I just want to give him some space and hopefully not hit too many logs in the process. We'll get a view of him now. And yeah, the rarest animal for us to see here would probably be some kind of unusual butterfly or moth that we don't know about. In terms of mammals, the rarest mammal to see here would be a pangolin, I suppose, or a wild dog, or an aardvark. Ooh, he's a big fellow, that. No, Eli, it's just like a tooth. Or it is a tooth. So if your teeth break, they won't grow back. Well, I mean, you're age 7, so if your teeth break, they will grow back because you haven't got all of your permanent teeth yet. You've still got your milk teeth. But a big tusk like that won't grow back. No, that's the end of tusks for him. He is going to have those 2 stumps for the rest of his days. It's just like if I lost my 2 front teeth. If somebody punched me in the face, which hopefully they won't, and knocked my teeth out, they wouldn't grow back again. Faik? No. No, an elephant doesn't eat meat when it can't find any leaves. If you look around you here, he's really not going to struggle to find any leaves to eat. And what is much more unlikely is that he'll be able to catch something like an impala. I think it would be very difficult for him to catch something like a bit of meat. So, no, they don't eat meat when they can't find leaves. If they can't find leaves, there's a drought that is too severe, and they will probably not survive. But they don't have the digestive system that can cope with meat, so they can't eat meat. Like you can eat meat and vegetables because you're a human being. So can many other primates like chimpanzees and baboons and that sort of thing. But an animal like an elephant is exclusively a herbivore, and so it can't manage to eat both kinds of things. Lovely morning so far we've had, isn't it? Unusual with those hyenas, and now this big elephant bull. Hello, Isis, all the way in California. It's a good Egyptian name, that. Isis, they can get to up to 6 tons. Now that's 6,000 kilograms. Which is how many pounds? It's about 14,000 pounds. Oh, now he's going to stop and have a bit of a feed. He's watching us quite carefully, but at the moment he's not offended by our presence, which is nice. Sometimes these muster bulls can be a little bit irritated by human beings, but he's very chilled out. I wonder if he's not going to stop at this little water hole. Let's go and have a look. As soon as he gets onto the road here. We don't want him to get irritated with us. At the moment he's fine. I actually think he came off the road because of us. We'll just drive behind him for a little way. He's a big bull. He's probably, I would put him at least 40 years old. Strong smell of musty urine. Saying there is basically, I don't think you should get any closer. He was just considering whether or not he thought we were a threat and whether we were irritating him or not. And I think he decided that we were slightly irritating him. Right, thank you kids for all of your questions. The rest of you now can send through your inquiries, questions, comments using the hashtag WildEarth on tweet. Otherwise you can chat stream us on Twitch or YouTube. Ask us your questions. The smell here is massively powerful. It is of kind of sweaty leather. Sweaty leather mixed with apricots, I always like to say. And honey. I'm not going to follow him any further. He's going up our eastern boundary, but every time I start the engine now, he's starting to look towards us and indicating a slight amount of displeasure. Now, we could probably follow him at a distance, but an elephant's bottom at a distance is possibly not the most attractive thing to follow. Trishala has now left her hyenas, and she will tell you where she's going from there.
Unfortunately, the hyenas left me. They have scattered just north of the Utila axis between Aubrey's and Gallagher. Now I'm just going to swing around the pan and have a quick look. Whenever there's hyenas around, I always feel like there's a leopard around as well. And something just said, please just go check the pan. The hyenas could have come to drink. You never know. They're definitely not heading in the correct direction for this. And I've got nothing. They were running, sprinting. Oh, let's have a look at the very eerie sun. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love when it's misty like this. And the sun looks like the moon almost. Alright, let us swing round and go back. Really want to check Aubrey's. There's no reason for them to stay still though. They would have just kept on going. Hi Gary in California, you'd like to know if male and female hyenas are the same size. They are not. Females are larger. Females can weigh between small female about 70 kgs. A very large female can weigh 80 to 90 kgs. Males on the other hand are more around 60 to 70 kgs. There are a couple males in our clan which I think are pretty large. Comet's been looking quite large these days. And Fika as well. I think both of those males are a bit more rotund than the others. You'll be able to see this, their stomachs. Kind of... The males look more athletic, put it that way. The females look like they've got buns in the oven for the majority of their life. That's just because they are larger. We had such awesome action. I really want to find them again. Now females are larger for a number of reasons. At least they're hypothesized. Females have to nurse their young for almost a year and a half. That is a long time. It's about 15 months. In order to do that, they need to eat sufficiently. They also produce a very protein-rich milk. Just a wipey wipe there. Thanks, Owen. And that's how we scientists think that this sort of sexual mimicry started to happen. And that goes the same for their genitals. So the largest size provided them with a little bit of a competitive edge at a carcass. From that competitive edge came a hierarchy where females are at the top. Between that also came the size change, because now females are competing at the carcass, so they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger than the males. And then somewhere along the lines, all good, all good? Okay. And then somewhere along the way, they also started to produce changes, or hormonal changes in the production of their androgen and other male hormones. So females started to produce this, and that's when the genitalia started to now resemble or mimic that of the male. Whether that is actually, it's like a chicken and egg. Did the genitalia come first and then the production of the hormone? Did the hormones and then the genitalia as a result of the hormones? I'm partial to the latter. Anyway, I'm going to send you back over to andBeyond and Ngala, see what they're getting up to, and I'm going to really try and find these hyena again.
Okay, so our search is still ongoing for these lions. Now we're heading to areas where we believe the lion to be. But now those areas, some of them are quite thick. It's difficult for me to see tracks, especially when I'm driving, talking to you, things like that. So we've recruited Rowan. You can see him out front there. He's sitting on the front trying to see the tracks for us. So he's essentially the tracker. And, if he does anything, I stop, we have a look, we get out, we judge, and then we take it from there. So he's just lending us a hand. We've got some good reports though. Sounds like they found tracks of the whole pride of lions close to Clara Dam, which we have been to, the one with the hippos out in the east of the reserve. So they found tracks of the entire pride heading in our general direction, which is fantastic, because the last tracks that we had of these male lions was a bit back behind us, coming in this direction. So now we're thinking, last night, a little bit of vocalizing, some roaring, and they joined up. So it will be fantastic if we could find all 15 lions together, including all the males. Then we'll be able to judge and evaluate and see exactly what's happening. So we're changing our route slightly. We were going to drive the riverbed. Now the andBeyond Ngala tented camp, just off to our right. You can't see it, but it's there. And that's generally where this young male, when he's alone, when he gets in a fight, when he gets kicked out, he often heads down into the river around the camp. Okay, so Lisa, andBeyond Ngala is about 14,700 hectares, which would make it 37,000 acres. So it's big. It's very big. I mean, in the time that we have been, with you, which has been, close on 5 or 6 weeks now, I've lost count, there are still sections of the reserve that we just haven't been to. Some of it is because we don't have signal, but also because it's just so big, we haven't been there. There's sections in the west, sections in the south that we haven't gone to, and probably won't go to. There's some roads here that in my 3 years, I have driven twice in 3 years. So a very, 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 very big piece of land. That's why we can go 10 days without seeing lions. Or, remember Tamburi Tom, the leopard that you all saw with me up in the tree? It had the carcass. We watched him at night. He was feeding. It bit dropped. The hyenas stole it, that sort of thing. That was the last time we saw him. And that was what, Marcel? 3 weeks ago? Maybe 3 weeks ago? So, these animals, they have a lot of space. And that's just andBeyond Ngala. Then they got all the surrounding areas that they can go to. So, yeah, it's beautiful. It's incredible that we can have such space for these animals to, live naturally and traverse and walk around in and live their lives. But so Noah, who's 11 from Tokyo, No, the animals will get water from mainly one of the big water holes. So we got 3 main water holes around andBeyond Ngala. We got Ngala Dam, which I just mentioned, which is out in our east. And then in the central part of the reserve, we have Opi Dam, which is a much smaller water hole. And then out in the west, if my sole focus is on the map here, you should be able to see. So on the map, all those blue dots that you see, all of these ones down here in the south, those are all water holes, Noah. So those are all areas that these animals can go and drink from. Now our main ones will be this one here. That's Ngala Dam. And then, like I said, we've got Opi Dam in the middle. And then where you went to see crocodiles once, way out in the west here, that is Alfred Dam. So those are our 3 major water holes. But if they dry up, the animals like the elephants, we've seen them already, they can dig for water in the river. So they can get water that way. Otherwise, if you watched yesterday, Noah, you saw all of the mist and the fog. So it makes the grass and the leaves very, very wet. And you'll actually see a number of animals going and licking those water droplets off of the grass or off of the leaves. And they can get, not a lot, but they can get a little bit of moisture that way. So that is these animals, they've been doing this for hundreds of years now, and they know how to get water much better than we do. So Eleni, what I can do for you is give you a demonstration. So there is no seatbelt on the tracker seat. So shortly I'll brake really hard and you'll see Rowan fall off. And then you know, it's quite a precarious seat up front there. But no, there's no tracker seat. He has a handle on the left hand side of the thing. There is of the seat. There is a handle. But a lot of it is just hopefully good driving. So, you know, I'll avoid any branches or try and avoid branches on that side of the road. I will drive slowly, brake slowly, turn slowly. Because it's not Rowan, but the proper trackers, you've got to look after them very well. You know, if you drive your tracker into a bush or into a thorn tree, or you brake sharply and he falls off, he's not going to find you any animals. You know, he's just going to sit there and be grumpy, which you can understand. He'll be grumpy, and so you look after your tracker very, very well. You know, you listen to him. Also, they got lots of years of experience. You know, most of our trackers have been here for 10, 12, 15, however many years. So they know a lot, not just about tracking, but also, you know, animal behavior. They know about the trees, the plants, the birds, and, you know, medicinal purposes, things like that. And unfortunately, Rowan's more of a hood ornament, but we do what we can. In the meantime, what we're going to do is send you back towards Djuma with Trishala.
No, not Trishala. James. And I'm sitting here with 2 wildebeest who are staring each other down in a battle of wills. It's not only the impala who are facing the rut at the moment, and actually in East Africa right now, the rutting carnival is in full swing, if I'm not mistaken, in the western corridor of the Serengeti. But these guys are not taking it very seriously. In fact, one is now rubbing his head affectionately on his friend's butt, which is a nice thing to do always, I think. If you're a wildebeest, not a human being, I wouldn't suggest that any of you go out in these times of COVID and in order to greet your long-lost friend, rub your head against their butt. I think that would be a poor idea. I just had a vision of people with a new greeting regime, which required them walking along the street, good day, welcome, and then turning around to quickly headbutt each other's bums instead of shaking hands. I don't know why I find that funny. It's probably not funny, but I do think it is quite funny. Imagine Corona meant that we stopped shaking hands and hugging and just head-butted butts. Morning, my name is James Hendry. Hello, I'm Steve. No, Louise, my name is not Richard. Now, we are going to go back and see if Gucheva is still in her tree, or around her tree with her kill, with her bebe, whose name is not Ned. And I did say to Tishala, are you sure you don't want to go and see Gucheva today? And she is clearly of such confidence in her finding ability, well placed, as per yesterday, that she said no, she'd like to go and find Hukamuri. So she's gone off to the west to find Hukamuri. I came down here in the hopes of finding a pack of hounds charging across the clearings here at Chitwa, but the only thing we found were a couple of geese and of course those butt-head-butting wildebeest. And so now we're going to go across and see Gucheva. Holly, if you call me Richard once more, I shall come over there and I'm not sure what I'll do. I'll steal all the loo paper in your house and then see if you can get any more. I don't think I'm going to hug a tree. I might hug a tree today. Let's see. You want me to hug a tree? Might hug a tree. Let's see if we can find Gucheva first before any tree hugging takes place. Let us now go across to try Shala and find out what she's going to be doing.
Okay, sure. Apparently I meant to call him not Richard. I prefer James. Anyway, that's just me. Apparently I'm Cindy. And these here, I was going to say a sparrow, but they're not. They are some starlings. I'll just be end up confusing everyone, guys. These are starlings playing in the bush there. I had to stop and show you something because of my frustration of not being able to find the hyenas on my face. I didn't want you to see that, so now you have to look at the starlings instead. Then I had the feeling of cheetah creep up into my head just because it's a really nice misty morning. The sun is really soft and we're out here where it's a little bit more grassy. It's a bit open. It's actually towards the gate, towards Sydney's Dam. And the last time that I did see a cheetah, it was in this area. So, you know, why not just say it in case? Just in case. Anyway, I'm going to keep on moving. And I won't show you my face. I'll just show you the back of my head. Because I really miss the hyenas already. Look in a long time. There we go. I can smile again now that I'm thinking about it. I've also picked up male look like Hukamuri's from last night, so I may follow up, though he may have gone out already. But I'm gonna send you over to Sean at andBeyond's Ngala. Apparently you have a 2-for-1 special going on there, so enjoy.
Look, guys, this is one time. Okay. Shame. We're not having very good luck with James and his name at the moment here in Ngala. Rowan called him Richard, I called him Tishala. It's not on purpose, James. We do apologise. Well, I didn't do it on purpose. I don't know about Rowan. But, so, still going towards those tracks. Now, we've got an update from the team, the tracking team on that side. They say that the tracks are still heading west. They've lost them for now, but they're checking through one of the riverbeds. They have a look if they came across there. So, my thoughts are that the Pride was much, much further east yesterday. And they heard all of the roaring happening. Now, lions do have the ability to sort of identify different roars. So they can hear, they can hear both those lions that we saw yesterday with Roan, hear them calling, and they know, okay, one is the Ross male, and the other one is part of our pride, it's the young male. They can identify that. So I'm hoping that the females in the pride, which would have been that young male's mother, his aunt, his sister, things like that, they can hear that, hopefully hear a bit of distress in his voice or in his call, and come and have a look. That would be an ideal situation for him and for me. I would like that. So that's what my thoughts are. That's why I think they were heading this direction, which is west, and why that young male and the Ross males were heading east. And they will join up. If you remember, the Ross male didn't look overly full last night. Neither did the Birmingham sub-adult. He wasn't skinny, but he didn't look like he'd eaten too recently. If you remember, 2 days ago, Eric showed you the whole Birmingham Pride, all the females and those cubs, on that wildebeest carcass. So they have eaten recently, and I don't think any of the males shared in on that carcass. So it could be that the Ross males want to join up with the Pride to see if they have any more luck in hunting, so they can eat some food. So it will be interesting to see exactly where they joined up, how far it was from where we saw him, which would give us an indication of how easily he can move with that injury. We just have to see. Right now, these are all just ideas, just theories, thoughts. We will have to find them to come up with something actually, concrete. So I'll show you. It's just a little bit down this road here. So down that way, that's where they had the tracks of the lions, coming across this way. So we are going to take this road and see. Now we go back to Noah's question about the water holes. That's where they came from. And we're heading towards the Oppie Dam, the small little water hole in the center of the reserve. But these lions have been doing funny things. They were gone for 10 days. And my entire time at Ngala, I have never before have they disappeared for that long. And they are spending a lot of time in the east, which is not unusual, but not as much as they do. Anyway, while we carry on looking and coming up with theories, we're going to send you back to James, who's found something in a tree.
Yes, we've got our kill now in the tree. Well, not our kill, Guchava's kill in the tree. As we got here, she was in the top of the tree, and she's now calling him out. Unfortunately, I hope they stay up there, but he's just started to feed. Got a nice picture of his bottom. There she is, calling him. Not sure why she climbed down. She's obviously been eating for a little while. I'm going to suggest that we move now. Let's see if we can get a better view of him before he does climb out. Might be best to go around the other side, but let's see what we can get from here. On the other side, all we get is sticks, which is just delightful. I love getting lots of sticks in my shot. Just great to have sticks everywhere. Sorry everybody, it's difficult to maneuver around here. You got anything there, Dave, or just bush? Just bush. just sticks. I do think that all of the trees here is to pull up. Every angle you go at, there are sticks.
Yep.
Maybe that one. Any luck, some light will fall upon him soon. No, David, it hasn't. No, there are no more leaves than sticks at the moment, but I will tell you that I don't think this is ideal. Let's carry on. I started looking at the photographs I took yesterday of the scene here, and in every single photograph there is a bush or a flower or something obscuring the face of the beautiful subject that are Guchava and her cub. Even now, as we look at this beautiful cat, what was once a very attractive plant, that is the foxglove, is now possibly the most unattractive thing you could photograph out here. Nicholas, the reason that we only name the predators is that they are the territorial ones. And so if they weren't territorial and we didn't see them all the time, it'd be difficult for us to recognize them like we do. It sounds like impala alarm calling. Peter from Coral might go in there and check. He's going to give us a call if he sees anything down there. Rosie leopard makes a kind of sawing sound. They go. There's some very wild alarm calling going on behind us. Let's just listen carefully. Yeah, should we go look? I think let's just quickly have a look here. I don't know what to do, if we should take this view and maybe come back. Ooh. Let's go and look. I think we must go and look. Sorry, everyone. We can come back here. We will come back here. But this could be very exciting. I think, Lou, just stay with us for 5 minutes unless somebody's got something. I think it's literally just down here that the impala are shouting. Just through there, I would have said. those of you who don't know, impala make a loud kind of snorting that sounds like their rutting call, but isn't quite the same. I think they're just here. There's a road that takes us up there, eventually. Go around the corner here and stop and listen. Elizabeth, you say excitement. Yes, it is rather. I would have said it was right here, and I think Peter's just gone past here. And he's just in front of us. The alarming has stopped. Naturally. The reason I'm so keen to find out about what's going on here is that Sibui and her cubs were operating in this area. Can't see or hear anything from where we are. Liam, they only shout if they see a predator, or during the rut when they're shouting at each other. But the females only shout if they see a predator. Any luck there, Pete? He's found the impalas, but he says they've gone quiet and he thinks maybe it was a hyena. Just not sure they would have alarm called it a hyena. He says he's also not so sure. Alright, I'm going to go back to the other two leopards. Let's go back to Trish for now.
I am now on the western boundary, seeing things all over the place. Most of them being stumps at this point. But I did see two of our hyena friends 5 meters into Arathusa. But they then came straight across. If they came straight across, they would have ended up around the Hyena Den area. So I'm gonna go south and then come back in and then check out the den, because I think they might have gone back. But that was quite a run from quarantine all the way here. It also made me think that they've smelled something else on this side of interest. Maybe the kill of a leopard. Maybe Shadulu. No, but I also haven't seen any tracks, so let's not get excited. The only tracks I saw were for females, a female on via tele-access at the junction with Aubrey's, and there were only about a handful of them. They weren't very fresh. The male tracks were fresh, and I know those were hukamoris from last night. So the female tracks are obviously from even before that. Yeah. I think I'm going to go to the top of this hill, use my binos, check it out, and then move in there. Hi JP, you're 5.5 years old. That is excellent. You'd like to know which animal has the sharpest teeth of them all over here. Well, lions have pretty sharp teeth. Leopards have pretty sharp teeth. But I think if we're going just on sharpness, not on size, not on the ability to hurt you very badly, I think the African wildcat has some pretty sharp teeth. See, other animals, like big cats, though their teeth are sharp... Ooh, mongoose is also a good one, Louise. Though big cats have large teeth that are really scary and can do a lot of damage, they are sharp. But because they need to be large to take down big prey, they need to be slightly more blunt. Their prey is big. Their prey has bones, has tough hides. If they had very, very sharp teeth, their teeth would chip very easily. In fact, saber-toothed cats, many, 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 many years ago, used to often chip their teeth, sometimes break them when they take prey. They're very flimsy. So too sharp teeth can cause you to break them. So I think smaller animals will have sharper teeth, like the African wildcat. And like Louise said, mongoose is also a pretty good guess. Although I must say, I have opened up the mouth of a mongoose that was unfortunately deceased at the time. That's preferable to touch a mongoose. And its teeth, though sharp, I still think African wildcat might be sharper. I've seen both of those skeletons. Anyway, back over to James and his leopards.
Well, and strictly speaking, they're Trishala's leopards, but we'll take them. We didn't come up with anything where those impala were. We did find the impala. And I wondered if maybe it wasn't a male leopard that they were shouting at. And I also wondered if perhaps, if it was a male leopard, if it wasn't one coming this way, because he'd smelt or seen this kill. Now let's hope our young friend here doesn't knock his kill out of the tree. Which he might, of course. Indeed, Reese, all young mammals have got milk teeth. And this young leopard is no different, although I think, if I'm not mistaken, he'll probably already be starting to get his adult teeth. But I could be wrong. Isn't he cute? He's also relaxed over the last 3 days, amazingly. You know, he was so nervy to start with. Today, Wednesday or Tuesday? Can't remember. Anyway, this kill was pretty much 36 hours old, I guess. This is definitely not the best photograph that impala ever had taken of himself. There's a fascinating name here. A chap called Shrek is Green. Shrek is Green? Most of the predators have got territories, yes. I can't actually think of a predator that doesn't have a territory. Except, I guess, a wild dog. Wild dogs don't really have territories. They've much more got home ranges, which they do kind of defend. And if they meet other wild dogs in those territories, they're not normally particularly pleased about it. Yes. This is a very macabre scene. I often, when I look back on my photographs, and you find that you've taken one that's in nice light and is focused and it's framed nicely, of a scene like this, it's really not very pleasant, because the death and destruction in it is almost worse when it's captured in a photo. So I find watching this kind of scene, not particularly disturbing. And I don't know why that is, but on a photo, it always seems to be much worse to me. I'm wondering if I suppose those birds are alarming at him. That's interesting, yeah. Louise says maybe it's because the image that's captured is more permanent, whereas this is a much more fluid situation. I almost never post any photographs that's got an animal eating in them, because it just doesn't look nice. It doesn't make one feel happy, does it? Oh, there it goes. It's going to fall. Surely this thing is not going to last in the tree. Hopefully it won't take him with it when it comes out. Now this is precisely why she's been eating it under a bush. Louise says he needs to put his little face in the circle underneath the spine. He does, it would be quite a nice shot. Although, again, deeply macabre. Is it going to last? Is it going to fall? No, Jason, he won't fall with it. I mean, I think that if he did fall with it, it would be extremely unusual. I'm sorry, my earpiece is giving trouble, but I didn't hear the name. I don't think leopards necessarily always land on their feet, no. They might. Oh, Grace. They probably do most of the time. I can't think of a time where I've seen a leopard fall from any great height, or jump from any great height, where they haven't landed on their feet. So, yeah, they probably do most of the time. of you now desperate to find out if he drops it or not. I don't think he's going to. Just yet. I think it's more sturdily strung over than I thought. But he might. He looks very cute there, doesn't he? Louise is an adorable little killer. Ooh. Trishala's got some baby franklins. Let's go and take a look at them.
I do have some baby franklins. A couple baby crested franklins. Hello, you guys. A little bit cold this morning. And they're very sweet and also very brave. They're right in front of my vehicle. So sweet. I must say I'm quite glad that they're not running off. We usually have about 3 to 7 little ones, or they lay 3 to 7 eggs. It looks like we have... Oh, everyone's cleaning themselves. 1, 2, 3... I can see 4 little ones. This is a typical way for birds to start their morning. And some nice preening. Clean those feathers. You rely on them so much. Yes, you do. Feathers are excellent insulation. Keep them nice and warm. They're also your number one defense. They allow you to fly, so they need to be kept in the best condition possible. Oh, I love how little ones are always fluffy, trying to catch as much air in there as possible, especially at this time of the morning. They're adorable. They're exact replicas of their parents. Too sweet. Well, Taylor also has a feathered little thing. Actually, not so little, but equally as loud, I think. So let's go and see what it is.
Did have a whole bunch of birds, but it seems as though the grey go-away bird is the only one that stayed behind. And as you can see at the moment, it's just running its beak through its feathers, making sure that all those little barbs are hooked nicely. Doing a good preening session. I don't blame it. It's definitely didn't put enough clothes on, but I'm sure that as this bird is sitting up at the top of the tree warming itself in the sun, that should do the trick. Although I would have chosen a better tree to sit in rather than that knob thorn. Isn't it amazing how they can sort of sit in the trees and land and take off without getting caught? And all the little hooks that are on that tree. Of course, the hornbills and the starlings that were gathered with this go-away bird, they've disappeared, they've moved on to other places, perhaps getting ready to find something to eat for the day, which I'm sure that this bird will do at some point too. But for a bird, it's very important. Actually, for most animals and even for humans, it's very important to keep yourself nice and clean. So always practice hygiene, especially now with the world current situation. Do you think this is the equivalent of a bird washing its hands? Water bath. Today, maybe just brushing its feathers and keeping them. But it's not going to be too long. June, July, August, September. Okay, only a couple more months to go before the knobthorns are going to get beautiful flowers. And the air is going to be filled with a very sweet scent. For those of you that have ever come on safari in South Africa, and during around September, October, you'll know the smell that I'm talking about. And they get these beautiful white sort of long flowers that dangle. Really, really awesome. They're also filled with insects, although you probably couldn't see them with the naked eye, but we were lucky at one point we were able to use a microscope, and see what was happening in there. But no flowers just yet. Nothing just yet. At some point we'll be able to show you, and then we'll talk about them non-stop. But most of the plants have already flowered after the rainy season. Lots of trees are going to start losing their leaves. Some of the grass species, most of the grass species are going to die. What else have we got? I suppose before the next rains. I'm trying to see where our other birds have gone. Oh, there we go. At 12 o'clock in the marula tree right on top. Perhaps the starlings will fly away, and then I shall get to your question. I will get to it in a moment. Here we have, they look like Cape Glossy starlings. They can get quite easily confused with, sorry, apologies, technical difficulties with me in speaking as well as my audio. But they can get confused with greater blue-eared starlings. Both of them occur in this area. Normally, I just can tell the difference between their calls are slightly different, but otherwise fairly similar in color. They've both got the orange eye, but if we look closely with a pair of binoculars, we're sitting quite far away, so it'd be quite difficult to sort of tell the difference. But with a greater blue-eared starling, essentially where the ears would be, the little openings of the bird, there's quite a dark patch that doesn't shine those beautiful blues and purples, so you can do that. Otherwise, like I said, the calls are very, very different. But it's finally starting to warm up here on Karongwe Game Reserve. Not quite ready to take our jackets and scarves off just yet. Probably in the next hour. Starling, you're waiting for the insects to start flying around, aren't you? So that's what they like to eat. They eat lots and lots of insects. Oh, bit of a wing stretch. Yeah, and the next one, because you've got to make sure you do both sides. And are you going to take off? A little ruffle of the feathers. No, still busy with its preening process. The iridescence, though, on those feathers is just absolutely gorgeous. I've also been trying to sit quietly every now and then to hear any animals making noises, but everybody seems to be very quiet today. Having a bit of a lie-in. We haven't even heard any leopards sawing recently, which might mean that they found themselves a bit of a meal. And this would be a good area to come and do some hunting. But Nathan, you've asked about the go-away bird and why it's called a go-away bird. So it gets its name because of the sound that it makes. And I know that James is particularly good at imitating a go-away bird, so perhaps you'll have to ask him at some point. Are you going to fly closer for us? Probably not. Look at that padding! And going faster. And sorry, sadly it's flown out of view now. So they kind of sound like they're going, go away! Something along those lines, so that's why they're called that. You'll find there's a lot of birds throughout the world, but specifically here in Africa, that are named after the sound that they make. Another classic one is the African whoop whoop, whoop whoop. Right. Well, we're going to keep just scanning through this wooded area with all this nice tall grass and see if we can't find a leopard slinking through the grass. Let's go back across to Ngala, to Sean.
So I managed to hear a little bit of Taylor's go away bird impression, and Taylor, I am impressed. It was pretty good. Our search has not been as fruitful as we would have liked. Still no sign of the actual lions themselves. We have actually changed our course quite significantly, going into a completely different part of the reserve. Having a look around here now, we had no fresher tracks or signs where we were looking last time we chatted. But we're going to carry on. In the meantime, we'll send you back across to Trishala.
I do have a bird. I think it's a button quail. It is absolutely tiny. Oh, and in it goes. It is smaller than those little franklins that we saw. It's absolutely tiny. How cute. It was just standing in the road, didn't even run away. I think it needed to warm up a little bit. At first I thought it was just a little of either one of the franklins or spur fowls. But upon close inspection, I think it was button quail. Very nice. Can't say I've seen one. I've heard it once. Very sweet. So now I'm heading up towards the Hyena Den. I hope the party has moved now to the den. Now that everyone's eaten and they didn't have to include the ribbon. Well, let's see. If she's looking bloodied, then perhaps she was there, but I don't remember seeing her this morning when they were all over quarantine. I only remember seeing June, Taka, Luca, Comet, Swazi, Sutu. There were two others that I couldn't get a clear look at. She running all over the place. It was gorgeous. But I'm going to send you back over to James now and his spots while I go find some of my own spots.
We're having a bit of party or playtime here. Oops. And Mum is actually the initiator. It's happening behind a lot of sticks and bush, but it's still quite interesting to watch. And she seems to be doing most of the chasing and pouncing while he waits for her expectantly. He definitely has played these games before. This is hilarious. She's on a tiny, thin little branch, and he's on the ground just below her. I don't know if he's thinking about maybe trying to join her or not. There he is, fascinated by his mother's behavior. I'm amazed she's going to come back down from there, not just leap off. She's not very high up. I think he's slowly getting more comfortable around cars, but I don't think that it's not a process that's complete yet by any stretch. So we've managed to keep up with him, but he's not behaving as though we're not here, if you know what I mean. There she goes. And then they both go off. This is as far as they came yesterday, before they turned and went back towards the kill. I guess we'll just carry on following them. It's quite nice this morning is that we're on our own. There they are, mucking around in there. And so he won't be feeling the pressure of two vehicles. It's just one noise, not noise from both sides. And we'll keep our distance, obviously. And hopefully slowly he'll just start to habituate and not worry. Yeah, sorry Lou, this earpiece is dying a death today. I'll try and fix it later on. Try again with that. Marius in Tokyo, that's an interesting Japanese name. Marius, no leopards that I know of are afraid of heights. I suppose Guchava's sister, not Guchava's sister, Guchava's aunt, Shadow, could have been considered perhaps a leopard afraid of heights, in so much as she hardly ever used to hoist her kills, but I don't think that was because she was afraid of heights. You see where they went, Dov? You got it then. Oh yes, there they both are. He's on top of a little stick. She's underneath the stick. There are obviously sticks between us and the camera, or between us and the leopard. There's such a lovely little bond here between them, isn't there? It does give one a slightly warm and fuzzy feeling. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to get a better position. And there off she goes. You can hear all the birds in the background. A black-headed oriole, I believe you can hear. I can hear it too. It's not only you. Trying to figure out where his mother's gone. Isn't that lovely? That's just a gorgeous picture of him. Don't fall. Quite an elegant little leap he did. Just look at that branch is only that fat, and he was lying on it as if it was a, I don't know, wide wall. Good old Not Ned. Much more confiding this morning. A lot of logs in here, which the elephants have placed carefully over the years. Any sign, David? When I was talking about the foxgloves, this is what I was talking about. These beautiful flowers when they're growing, and then they turn into these unsightly, apocalyptic death sticks. And it is impossible to take a photograph through them without them getting in the way. Here is an unsightly, apocalyptic death stick. All right, I know we're going across to Taylor. I'm afraid I just can't hear what she's got, or where she must be at Karongwe, I guess.
Everybody, welcome back. Let me quickly just give you a quick down low of what's actually happened. We went to try and find the female cheetah, but she's in the same area she was yesterday afternoon, and unfortunately this means no signal for us. So until she decides to move either back south or into a new area where there's signal, I'm not sure when we are going to see her again, but we will check every single day in hope that we can give you an update. So we're just driving on our way. Things. We were just driving down towards Chippenberry Dam. We've got a way to go. And something quite interesting that we came across over here. And I wonder if heard our friend Sabi, because I know that his territory extends all the way to this area. He's actually got a really big area. So if I just show you my hand, you can see how big his footprints are. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably this foot over here that is on top of this one is the back foot, and then you can see the slightly bigger one. It's a bit difficult over here. There's the front foot. So the fact that his back foot is going over his front foot suggests that he was on a bit of a territorial control. He was on a march. He's not wasting any time. He's going to go from point A to point B. So he's going in this direction back towards, can you see that big rock in the distance? Massive granite boulders is also a trig beacon. Does anyone know how high that rock is? Do you? Sorry everybody, I thought that this may have happened, some audio issues, but it was very interesting the things that I was saying. You won't believe what I had to say. I'm going to send you across to Ngala, where there's some curious jackals running around.
Okay, so we managed to find these three little jackals. Now, when we got here, they were sort of running around, chasing each other. So I think, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we found that family of six jackals. The 4 youngsters and then the 2 adults. So these are 3 of those youngsters. They're playing around here. This is the same area, big open space. Now, there was an impala that they were sort of running in and around and just playing with each other. Started to warm up a bit. So I think they were playing in that colder morning. They're all just watching us. Very beautiful animals. Very beautiful looking. Little white marks on the bottom of the muzzle, snout, the muzzle. But beautiful patterns, beautiful colors. And phenomenal camouflage. I mean, if they had to just lie down there, they just disappear in the grass. But it's interesting. See what they're doing. So now they were playing. When walk in, they're smelling, maybe looking for little worms, little beetles, little bugs. Now in the mornings, maybe some termites even, some of the shogololo, what is it, a millipede. Some of the millipedes coming out now, maybe even a few dung beetles. This is a place with lots of wildebeest, impalas, elephants, zebras. This is where they all come. So there's a lot of dung in the area. There could be dung beetles that these jackals will eat. And we were surprised, the 3 of us, how quick these actually are. Here comes the 3rd one joining in there. How fast they actually are when they were running. See, now they're obviously just trotting along. Not one last look back at us, making sure we're not going anywhere. There's a perfect space for them. We were talking about it the other day on one of my drives. About why we were at that buffalo carcass with all of the hyenas the one morning. And we got a question about why there's no jackals here. Being scavengers, we had the vultures, we had the hyenas. But look at this area. Look how much more open it is. Much more just grass, open areas. And I was saying that's where these jackals, that's where they live. They have their little dens, their little burrows in the ground. Where we saw that hyena carcass was, well, that hyenas feeding on the carcass was a very thick area. Very, very dense, lots of bushes, a few trees, things like that. It's just not where you find these jackals. They do go into those areas to scavenge, so they can be seen there. But they prefer, especially these ones, maybe a bit younger, they prefer to live out in an open area like this. Oh, look at that. That one just sat down, disappeared, just gone. And there's 3 there. You see that one moving, you can see the head of the other 2 now. There one gets up. It's very, very impressive. And that's how these animals survive. You know, someone might look here and say, oh, but there's so much grass, how does anything hide? No, you know, they just lie down. Okay, so we got a question from Jennifer asking, what are jackals related to? Yeah, Jennifer, I would say they're probably related to dogs most closely. I'm not actually 100% sure. If you give me a second here. So, yeah, I'd say they're most closely related to dogs. They're made for life, so they're monogamous, which is really, really awesome. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to read up here my little book that I have, but it doesn't say. Yeah, I would check that, but I believe, yeah, they're most commonly related to jackals. I mean, to, obviously, jackals, to dogs. To dogs. I mean, if you look at them, they've got the face similar to a fox. You know, bear in mind, I've only seen 2 foxes. But they got faces very similar to foxes. So it says here, they are, yeah, part of the dog family. They use the dog technique when they hunt, when they attack, things like that. Typical canid. So yeah, part of that dog family, Jennifer. But you can see they are disappearing further and further out into this grassland, to this open area. So what we're going to do is carry on. And I'm not sure if you heard my last little update about the lions, but haven't been as fruitful as we were hoping. The other teams are still tracking the tracks of the whole pride that they had. The areas that we had a look in, we didn't find anything fresh in terms of tracks or signs of anything. So we've moved into a different area. We're going to drive a little bit of the river, very close to where we saw that female yesterday with Rowan, the one that was walking down towards the buffalo. So we're going to head down there, have a look in the river, see if we can find any tracks. Maybe even drive further down, see if that young male didn't move as far as we thought he did, and he's still in and around the river somewhere. But we're going to have to search. We're going to have to search. The sun came out briefly, warmed up quite a lot. But since then, clouds came back, so it's cooling down, which is good for us. James, Richard, that is a pleasure. Jackals are very, very beautiful, very interesting to watch, and nice to see the little puppies there instead of just adults sleeping. But while we continue our search in the river, hopefully we become a bit more successful. But in the meantime, James, who has been very successful this morning, still with those leopards.
I'll tell you what the success of the sighting is that this cat is now totally relaxed. And another guy came into the sighting behind us in a big Land Cruiser on the front of the tracker seat, and I thought, oh, he's going to run away now. And he hasn't. And he's only sitting maybe 10, 15 meters from us. So for some reason, he's decided that we're actually not so awful and not so terrifying, which is exactly what we want. And so that is great success. question from Safi in Tokyo about vitamins. Safi, they get enough vitamins from the meat that they eat and the bones that they eat and the fat that's in the bone. And sometimes they eat a little bit of grass, but I don't think that's because of the vitamins. And you'll find that there's enough vitamins and there are enough minerals in the meat that they eat, and they've got the digestive system that's able to extract those nutrients from whatever they eat. Same as a herbivore, which doesn't eat anything by way of fat or anything like that, or meat. They are able to derive the nutrition they need because they've got a very specialized digestive system. That's how it happens. The reason that we often need to take supplemental vitamins, or we think we do, is that our food is very processed, and it's not fresh food that comes out of the ground, out of fertile ground. They don't have this problem, and so that's why they don't need to take any supplements or vitamins or things like that. That's a really clever question, thank you. We'll try and move around a little bit. Sorry, Lou. Let's try that again. I got you now. For the next 10 seconds, no doubt. Yes. That's exactly right, Lady Owen. I would say that he is becoming much more used to vehicles. I think that after just one day of kind of full vehicle action, I think that he's become a lot more relaxed already around the cars. She's calling him again. I think he's gone around to the back. There, she's getting up now. She'll go and look for him. She likes to have him close by, you know. And he moves off. She doesn't like it very much. She far prefers it when he's close. There he is. He's behind that little bush there. It's quite sweet. We'll try and move again. Just if I move forward from here, David's going to lose his head to a knobthorn branch. You're right there. Okay, we'll try it. He moved. There they go. Playing again. Again, she's initiating all of the play behavior. Lovely to watch. There they go. We'll just stop here a sec. She's looking around. They will most likely head back towards the kill at some stage. And she's just going to follow him around that little termite mound. She's gone back to the ground. So let's move. Oh, there we go. Just as David brought the camera back here for us to move, they did a huge pounce upon each other. The temptation to destroy this earpiece is now becoming overwhelming. Trish. Okay, let's go across to Trish. That's all I can tell you.
Oh no! Gotta hate it when your earpiece is broken. I was at the den and Ruben was lying down doing nothing as usual, just relaxing actually. She looked very, very full. And then we saw some elephants running in the distance. Let's do this. So I decided let's go and see what's going on there. And then we'll return to the den in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to go down to the dam, to Twin Dams. Just have a look there. It was a mum and a calf, so I wonder if there was a bull pursuing her. A lot of commotion, but it was towards Weaver's Nest. Not very close to the den, but I could hear it. No one could see it in the distance. Last night or yesterday afternoon, Twin Dams was a good spot. So why not try our good spots and see what we can find? But I will head back to the den for the last maybe 40 minutes of drive, half an hour drive, unless we find something spectacular. I mean, I did see.
Sorry everyone. I'm happy you didn't hear me say that bad word. I was saying a bad word about my earpiece, which is not working at all anymore. And so I'm going to have to take it apart. We'll try and find this leopard again while I do that. There she is, just down through there. I know this isn't the best picture, but I'm not sure we're going to get a much better one until she settles. I won't be able to take any questions at the moment, unless David relays them to me. I'll try and go a bit forward. There she is. Let me see her. You got her. No. All right, let's go across to Sean. I'll try and sort out what's going on here. Leopard and earpiece one.
So what is happening here? We have now dropped into the river. So just behind us is where we saw that lioness last night. So we're heading down the river here to see if we can find any other lions in the river. Now, see that female not. So we can carry on the river back. Not just the river, like there's leopards banks if you're on the side, very, very thick trees, bushes. So lots of coverage for leopards. Was it an elephant? I haven't seen an elephant in a few days now. But elephants, buffaloes, bushbucks, kudus, those are all sorts of animals that we can find in and along the sides of the river. Also a number of vultures. You can actually see some way further down up on a tree. But this is the perfect place for them to sleep. Lots of big trees, lots of places for nests, and the river's generally one of the first places that will start creating thermals in the mornings. You know, the hot air will hit the banks and then shoot up, and the vultures can then drop down, catch those thermals and help them to fly. So that's why we see quite a large number of vulture nests along the banks of the rivers. And not always in the dead trees. Most of the time those nests will be in trees that are alive. James, we don't, hey? Although it does look like we've been focusing on lions, we have been looking for leopards as well. We've had no tracks of the Ngala female or her youngster since, I think Nikki had them last on that carcass. Since then there hasn't been any sign. We're not sure where exactly they went from there. And we've got a few ideas of where they could be, but we haven't managed to track the Ngala female down. The New Zulu female, oh no, Shitsalala, Rowan had them in the river, well, in that little river bed. And from there we think they're headed back up north towards Opi Dam. But that's in an area where there is no service for us here for the cameras and the transmissions and such. Though we did drive past there earlier this morning, we didn't have any fresh tracks there either, James. The leopards, like the lions, are playing hard to get at the moment. We just haven't seen much activity. We heard one male calling 2 nights ago, which we believe to be Tamburi Tom, out in the east of the reserve, but his tracks crossed out into the neighboring property, so we weren't able to follow him either. But they'll come back. They're around, especially with the weather like this. You know, the full moon making it a bit harder for them to hunt these leopards and the lions, the full moon. But now we've got some cloud cover. So if this holds out, you know, overnight, it makes it more ideal hunting for the lions, for the leopards. So we might maybe we find them tomorrow or the next day. We just gotta remain positive. They're in and around here. In and around. Even for the leopards, you know, driving in the river is good. Got a very interesting question from Steph, Marcel. I don't know if you heard it, but I'll repeat it for you. Steph wants to know, Rowan, if Marcel is going to dance today. No. Marcel says he's thinking about it.
No, I say no.
To paraphrase what he said was no. But we will work on him today. Steph, we will work on him today, me and Rowan, and try and convince him to dance for us this afternoon.
Don't dance, no more potatoes.
So, okay, so Rowan's threw out an ultimatum. And I don't know if you guys know a bit of background about Marcel. His stomach is like an empty void, and he tries to fill it with potatoes. Lots and lots and lots of potatoes. Now when I say lots, I mean we buy like 30 kilograms of potatoes for Marcel. So Rowan has thrown out an ultimatum saying that we will cut off his potato supply if he does not dance.
I will then consume all the chicken.
So I am now seeing a look of dismay on Marcel's face. Yes, there is actually a tear line coming down. So we might get it, Steph. We might get it. I will keep you updated. You know, he's playing hard to get. He's like, oh no, I don't dance. No, I don't want to show everyone my skills and stuff like that. So I think he's just trying to build it up, you know, a bit of suspense, like we're doing with the lions and the leopards. Oh, there we go. So we just got a very good idea from Louise at FC. So Marcel, the new plan is every good dance move, we will give you a potato. That is the plan.
Realize the strength of my will.
So you see, Marcel, the viewers have spoken. This is how it is. No, but we will get him to do it, Steph, eventually. Eventually. He's stuck with us for many months still. So we'll make it happen. Otherwise, what is that, Rowan? So Rowan just said that if Marcel doesn't dance, he will. So while Rowan comes up with a dance move, what we're going to do is send you back across to Trashala while we carry on searching.
I'm also searching. I'd also like to say that if there's any people who are interested in Marcel, there's only one way to get to his heart, and it is through his stomach. In fact, it's the only way. Be as sweet as you like, but if you can't cook for Marcel, it's not going to happen. He also cooks very well, by the way. I've now circled back to Treehouse Dam, where I was hoping maybe the elephants ended up, but no, and not at Twin Dams either. So I'm heading back to the den now. I hope that the cubbies will be out. I have a feeling, though, that Ribbon has eaten and then she fed the cubs, and now everyone is having their mid-morning nap. You have to have several mid-naps: mid-morning, midday, mid-afternoon, mid-evening nap, even a midnight nap. Whenever I say something bad about Twin Dams, that's when animals come here. Like last time I said, oh, nothing ever happens here. And then there were elephants playing there. I'm sorry, Treehouse Dam, not Twin Dams. Treehouse Dam is so boring. Hello, young boys. Shame. These guys, these are young males who've probably been kicked out by all the territorial males at the moment. Formed a little bachelor herd where they can safely hang out together without being harassed and burped at. I should have been more specific about what I wanted at Treehouse Dam. My insults have to be better. Anyway, let me send you over to some Playful Leopards with James. I'll be at the den when you get back.
They're having a little bit of a run now. They were very sleepy in the shade. And suddenly there was a great commotion, and the two of them started moving around. Here comes Bebe now. He's watching us. Now he must cross the great divide between his mother and us. But watch his body language. It's totally different from what it was yesterday. He's not crouching down. He's walking totally confidently. And she's now gone up into that tree. See if he goes up after her. She's very playful. How special is that? Let's carry on down through here. I think I've temporarily sorted out my earpiece issue. Let's hope it lasts. This is the first Peltiforum tree or weeping wattle that she was jumping into. There she is, right there. And he's just in front of her. Just going to wait here. She's going to pounce on him. It's just so special to see. You know, we've often seen cubs and leopard mothers playing with each other. I can't remember a time where it was initiated by the mother quite so much, though. Yee. It's just amazing to see. Yeah, and there's... Oh, look, he's just on the turn. He's coming down, never mind. Have you got him? Shall I stop him? Now he'll stalk his mother. He'll possibly explode out of the bushes there at him. problem with not being in the Mara Serengeti, of course, is that, well, this is a woodland, which means that inevitably 99% of the action happens behind the bush. Dylan, it's not that wonderful. It is certainly amazing. It is impressive. But wonderful it is not that they can just disappear like that. And that's because it makes it really difficult for us to find them again. It is certainly impressive, however. They're slowly making their way back down towards the kill site, or where the death is hanging from the tree. I think that's the best we're going to get right now. I think he might be just behind her. There she looks like her mother. When she puts her ears back like that in Tundi's standard issue glare, she looks relatively like her mother, but when she puts her ears forward, I'm not sure that she does. Oh, Louise, at the risk of causing myself a lot of pain, you say she looks just like her mother. I know that it's sacrilegious to say that I don't think Tundi's the most attractive leopard in the world. And many of you will now be clutching at your heartstrings, typing furiously on Twitter, possibly in need of defibrillation and lying on the floors of your homes, gasping in absolute amazement that I could say such a thing. I think this leopard's really beautiful. I think she's really good looking. Now, while we're watching her, let us consider a fascinating question from James Richard, who has suggested that perhaps her concern for him, or her constantly calling him, all the time she's calling him, always looking out for where he is, and when he moves away she follows him, and James is wondering if maybe she's like this because she's lost other cubs and lost so many other litters. I think that's a really interesting thought. They're certainly capable of learning. They learn by experience, for sure. And, yeah, maybe that is precisely what's going on. And she really doesn't want to let him out of her sight. So when she does, yesterday, when she did move off to have a bite to eat, she'd call him. And if we were close by, or there were other vehicles close by, he wouldn't come, and then she'd go back to him. And as soon as we extracted and he came forward to be with her, she was fine. She stopped calling. And it was almost as if she just wanted him close by. She didn't do any grooming or anything like that. She just wanted him close by, wanted to know where he was. And in fact, the only time she slept, if I can remember correctly, the only time she slept yesterday was when they were both up into the tree, and then she shut her eyes and went to sleep. That is a quite phenomenal picture. He's not going to be up there for long. Surely it is going to fall. No, I don't think it's based on the gender or sex of the cub, X-Ranger. I'm sure that they play with their cubs differently dependent on the personality of the cub and the personality of the mother. And inevitably that will vary with the gender of the cub, especially as they grow older. But I don't think that they necessarily treat boys and girls differently. Maybe they do, but I don't think so. This is a disgusting picture of an impala that is hanging on just one knot. Right, Trishala's now following up on alarm calls, which sounds like great news. You got them.
It does. It does sound like great news. So we're gonna go up to quarantine. Apparently there were some alarm calls and other activity. Maybe dogs. I don't know. We'll have to go and see. I see the audience looking tentative. Not you, audience, but audience of Impala here. Hi guys. How's it going? I'll just stay here for a moment. See if I can hear anything. I mean, they have gathered together, which would be a strong indication of them wanting to seek some sort of safety. But no alarm calls. Can hear Cape Turtle Dove, can hear some lapwings in the distance. Just see some impala running around. Let's go through to the end and cut through the center. Any tracks. My first feeling was dogs. Butterfly, you say it's an impala convention. Happens every now and then. In fact, this is the main venue for any type of antelope convention. Sometimes they have a broader convention, umbrella group. They call it the EUC. Even-toed ungulate convention. ETUC, sorry. In the middle of quarantine, we have some tech equipment that's protected and things like that you would have known when we had the tent out here. We used to use that site, so perhaps they use that to hook up their various presentations on new strategies that wild dogs have been using. The benefits of fences, benefits of using cars as defense, that kind of thing. Teaching young antelopes that getting up into the tree is not something you want to aspire to. It does not say anything about your talent, and more about your lack of self-awareness or awareness. I think they're quite self-aware. General awareness may be lacking a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna keep on moving around. Once I'm satisfied that there's nothing here, I'll go back to the den. But I'll send you over to James and his leopards.
We've just got them here, one of them. I think the other is in the grass, about to pounce on the other. Still trying to fix my earpiece, everybody. If you hear some rustling around, that's what it is. It's now stabbing me in the back. If I ever meet the person who designed this earpiece, I will give him a piece of my mind. Possibly through the medium of a clenched fist. Not really, I'm not a violent man. I'm not big enough to be violent. clearing, get out from behind the endless pile of sticks. Oh dear. Come on, Rusty. Don't worry, that stick will jump up behind us. It will have a scratch on it, yes. But it will get up behind us. They are in there, aren't they? I'm sure they're lying in the grass there. At the moment, I cannot see them. So either they are not there, or they are very flat. She looked like she went to sleep in here, didn't she, to you, Dad? Can you see them? Apparently they are right here. Oh, there. There he is. He's right there in front of us. All right, we'll wait and see if they do anything from here. You go across to Trish, who's got some more diversity for you.
I have a giraffe. She is quite beautiful and a little bit skittish, I must say. Usually when I drive up to them or nearby, I didn't even get to drive up to her. They're quite calm, but she actually ran away, which I found strange. So maybe there was the smell of something in the air here in quarantine. Still not hearing anything though. You find that usually if animals are a little bit nervous, and it could be as a result if they bring a predator around, once they begin eating again, that's telling you that they have moved on from the instinct to just stay alive and are now taking care of other functions. Basically, it means that they've relaxed a little bit. Hi, Billy, you're 8 years old and you say yay for giraffes. They're one of your favorites? I'm so glad you said one of your favorites, because I think, Billy, that you're like me. And you find it very difficult to choose a favorite. That's why you say one of your favorites. Am I right, Billy? I hope I'm right. It's very difficult to choose favorites out here. Everything is just so stunning. Now she's walking off. Hi, Vahan. You're 5 years old and you're from Cape Town. I'd like to know which animal I think is the funniest. I quite find hyenas to be pretty funny. I think I laugh at them quite a lot. Maybe that's why they like to laugh back. But I do find them quite funny. They do laugh at their own jokes, again, much like me. And then everyone's happy, we all get to laugh together. Oh, I found a friend. Now, where did you come from? Hairy caterpillar, you've got quite a fringe on you. It's got some eyebrows and got some low-hanging fringe. Possibly even a bit of a handlebar moustache going on. Look at that sheen. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's my co-host for today. There it comes. There we go. Alright. You are welcome to stay on my dashboard. I have no problems with it. I'm glad you asked. And I'll continue to drive. Still on quarantine. Oh, it's very interested in my dials. Must be a mechanic in the making. Alright, I'm going to send you over to Sean for an update. While I try not to get this guy to land on me, and I'll end up at the den in a bit. If you're fond of sand.
Okay, so we've had some developments since you've been gone. We're driving in the river. I looked back, I looked forward, and Rowan was gone, so we lost him somewhere. But no, we found tracks of that male lion. So we think we found tracks of the young Birmingham male.
Yeah, sure.
The one that we saw yesterday with the injury. So we saw tracks of him from where we last saw him roaring last night, heading. So the river's off to our left, and the tracks head up this way. So we have dropped Rowan on the tracks. He's somewhere down in front of us. But what we're doing here now, tracks come up just past these trees. But we're just listening for impalas. Rowan thought he heard impala's alarm calling just off to my right. So we're just sitting quietly and we're listening. It makes sense. So the tracks come just further down there. As I said, if you remember, we were talking about Tambori Tom when he had the carcass in the tree. Was that big tree that you can see there, that one there, just on the left of it, so over here. That's where the carcass was. So anyway, up here, there are some clearings off to our right. Guys, as long as the young male survives, if it takes eating Rowan, it's a sacrifice me and Marcel are willing to make. I doubt Rowan minds. Okay, but I can't hear any alarm calling.
That's rather...
I can't hear anything. So Louise is saying that she thinks Rowan's a bit too skinny for the lion and that he might choke eating Rowan. Luckily, we got Marcel, who's full of potatoes. I can go there and take it. Oh, shh, listen. Some impalas fighting. Not alarm calling. Okay. So you can hear them fighting. So that's the rams, the males that are fighting at the moment. We've seen it all over, heard it, seen the actual fights. So that is what that was. And it always throws you this time of the year when you hear the males do that. Because also you'll see one male really, really focused somewhere. And you're like, oh, you must be looking at a predator. And it always confuses you. But Boo in Arizona, yes. Well, I mean, we don't really want to hear our own alarm calling, but at least it'll be more promising than an impala fighting. If we hear Rowan just running, shouting, I found it, then we know. So, again, sacrifice I am willing to make. Just having a look here, though, because we know the lion walked down this road yesterday. And there are lion tracks of a male walking down the road. But I think, as I said, they are from yesterday, because there's impala tracks all around and on top of the lion tracks, which would suggest that they are old. I can't seem to see any Ooh, maybe. So I am actually going to jump off here as well and just have a quick look around here, see if I can find any fresh tracks on the road. So while I do that, we're going to send you back to James and his leopards in the tree, or just playing.
We're going to do one more little segment here. The little chap has relaxed and is lying in amongst the grasses. His mother is fat, flat and fast asleep. Fat, flat and fast asleep. Somewhere in amongst that lot there. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in amongst the what's it called? What did Judy H. tell us it was called yesterday? It's that is the not Vernonia plant. It's polyhydrous or polyadra. Polyadora. There we go. Polyadora. Polyadora. Polyadora poskina. Polydora poskina. Polydora poskina. Polydora poskina. Polydora poskina. Thank you, Judy. Got it. Polydora poskina. I'll almost certainly forget that in about 10 seconds. 1, 2, I'm not really going to count to 10. Polydora poskina. Any way for me to stick it in my head is to say it 525,000 times. Polydora poskina. Oh, there's a nice little breeze blowing now. The soporific time of the morning has arrived, and I feel a little bit like these leopards, in so much as I quite like to have a little lie down. Yes, Daniel, I'm afraid so. A leopard would definitely rob a nest of bird eggs or chicks. They would think nothing of doing such. They don't ever walk up to something and think, you know what, I think I'm just going to let that one go. They can't afford to have a conscience like that. At least as far as we're aware, they don't do that. They can't really afford a conscience, because if they had a conscience, they'd never eat. He's dropping off now, which is great. Oh, sweet. Harley, we can't tell for sure, but I'm just going to start talking quietly because the little fellow's going to sleep. He's going to wake up when I start the engine, but it feels inappropriate to talk loudly when he's passing out like that. Harley, you can't tell for sure, but you can often pick up different character traits from very early on. I don't know if he's going to always be nervous or not, but the classic example of Gunuma and Quarantine, those two leopards, from fairly early on, as far as I'm aware, I didn't know them when they were very young. Gunuma, or now the Senegal bushmale, was pretty unpleasant when he was eating. He's much more nervous, much more likely to get irritated than his brother was. And that carried on into adulthood. Hosanna, our friend, was from the very beginning very confiding, didn't have a problem with us, showed a lot of playful characteristics even into adulthood. So, yeah, I think you probably can tell, in so much as you can with a human being. You know, you can predict human beings are going to be a certain way from when they're kids, but, you know, you can't predict all the variables that will contribute to their personalities as adults. And I think it's the same here, although they're probably fewer. variables at play with the leopard living in its natural environment. You know, if he survives to adulthood and goes off to become a territorial male, he'll probably disperse to, I don't know, within 50 kilometer radius of here, most likely. And so his environment won't change. And so you can probably relatively accurately predict that if he is okay now around vehicles, if he's relaxed and remains relaxed, that's what he'll be like as an adult. I'm sure they have many other complicated personality traits that we don't understand. We don't see them, and how they interact with their offspring, with their potential mates. It'll also be very interesting to see. A great example is Hukumuri and Tingana. Now, I've never seen Hukumuri with cubs, but I have seen Tingana with cubs. And he's like a kind of grumpy dad. He's okay with them, but he's not going to play with them, and he certainly doesn't clean them or approach them. He'll tolerate it almost when they approach him, and they have once or twice. We've watched Tlalamba do it especially. But Hukumuri apparently has actually been seen playing with his offspring. And that's very interesting. You know, they're just obviously cats with different personalities. Anybody who's ever owned a dog or a cat knows that they're not all the same. They don't all have the same personalities. They're all profoundly different. No, I don't think so, Fizzy. I think the back of a leopard's ears are coloured like that so that they can see each other when they're moving through the bush. And that's obviously only applicable for a mating pair, or mainly for a mother and youngsters and youngster and others. But I don't think there's any other reason for it. I don't think it's to mimic eyes. There are some extremely effective eye mimics in the natural world. The pearl-spotted owl comes to mind, and obviously a lot of the moths have got eyes on their wings that we think are there to mimic other eyes. Good. We're going to move on from here, start making our way home. Let's go to Trish, who's got a bird.
We do. We have 2 crowned lapwings, but one has some sort of deformity in its foot. Nope, that's the other one. I don't know if that's broken or if that's deformed. Well, perhaps it is broken. But I don't know, the general look of it and the fact that I can put weight on it at that angle, to me it looks deformed as opposed to broken. Because it can still put weight, even though when it stands it doesn't put weight on it. Or maybe a break that happened when it was very, very, very young. Doesn't look like it's happened recently. Interesting. Anyway, I'm at the exit of the Hyena Den. It certainly does. It gets around very well. I think it's doing very, very well for itself. I have left the Hyena Den because a good old Ribbon has done the same. So there's nobody there at the moment. No adults at all. And you know the drill. No adults around. If there's cubs in the den, then we go too. Just in case we spark some sort of curiosity and they decide to come out, and they'll have no protection if that is the case. So I think now is time to perhaps go back towards quarantine. But I'll take twin dams this time towards quarantine. See if we can pick up on anything. Oh, did I subconsciously there say anything? Ha ha ha. Because I would like to see Ellie's. Nancy, you said, do you think it has, or it looks like it's got a callus or bone mending bump in its right leg or thigh? I would agree with bone mending bump. After seeing it close up like this, I think that that injury is something it sustained when it was quite young. And it's healed up very well. The skin around it is totally is completely healed. Lara Moore, you say better a damaged foot than a damaged wing? Certainly. It gets along very well. That's a very nice thing to see. Very positive to see that. I'm quite happy to see that. Look at that. In the face of adversity, it has totally recovered. Gets along well. Anyway, like I said to you before, I'm going to head up along Twin Dams and towards quarantine, and I'm going to send you back over to Sean at andBeyond's Ngala for a bit of an update. I believe they've been tracking quite a bit.
So we got some good news and we got some bad news. The good news is Rowan survived. As you can see, he's back with us. Part of the bad news is that, well, the other news, the lion tracks that we were looking at, they dropped down into the river and headed down this direction. So we are now driving the river, trying to see if we can find him resting along one of the banks of the river here. The other bit of bad news is that Marcel was so distraught over this potato ultimatum that he forgot his fun facts. No, I'm joking. But he's going to do his fun fact this afternoon, rather. Now, we've got a whole plan, and we've got to need to practice. So, this afternoon, Marcel will give us his fun facts. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you viewers. I know this is why you woke up at your respective early hours for Marcel's fun fact. But we're going to have to build the suspension until this afternoon. Well, no, the suspense rather. Build the suspense until this afternoon. But we're feeling quite positive that we will find a lion somewhere on andBeyond Ngala today. We had some vultures circling, but it seems like they were actually just catching the thermals. But we're still feeling good. Tracks are heading in this general direction. So we're hoping, as the sun's heating up now, these lions will come down into the river, lie along the banks of the river where it's a bit cooler, where it's a bit more shaded. That's where they should be if they follow the lion theory books. Let's try and turn here. But we'll have to wait and see. Where we're also heading is actually towards the tented camp where we will stay. Because if you remember earlier, I was saying that fairly often what this young male does when he gets injured or separated, he will head back towards the camp. I don't know, he just finds it maybe to be a safe place, or it's very close in the middle of their pride's territory, so he feels a bit more protected there. I don't know why, but that's what happens. We just have to wait and see, and thank you for all of your comments about my expert driving. We had a discussion yesterday about who was the best driver between me, Rowan, Nikki and Eric. I mean, I'm not going to say who won, but you all know. You all know. No one can hear you, Marcel. Oh, but it's turned out to be quite a lovely morning. I mean, animal-wise, it was a bit challenging, but it's been a really wonderful morning. Djuma was pumping. Nice to see those leopards with James or Richard or whoever he is this morning. But a wonderful morning on that side. And we've had there, you can see 2 buffaloes in the distance. Rowan spotted them, so he is useful. But just 2 males together there. Some Dagger boys doing the same thing, probably slept here in the river. Now maybe passing back up onto one of the banks to feed for the day. There we go, looks like they're heading that way. Louise, I am as surprised as you are that he managed to spot them. They are, 2 of fairly the biggest animals, and we are in the river. But let's not take it away from Rowan. Rowan, well done. Viewers are very impressed with your spotting, tracking ability. But you actually, they can't hear you either. If you look on the right hand side here, there's actually a bit of water. So I think maybe these buffaloes are heading towards the water. And they might go have a drink there. Let's stop over here. Oh, we're going to stop right here. There you can see this one. Got a few oxpeckers on him, trying to shake them off. The one is standing on his eye. Now moved to the nostril. Oh, look at that. Hey? So for all you birders, the one on his horns seems to be a yellow-billed oxpecker. Actually, all of them seem to be yellow-billed oxpeckers, which is quite surprising. There's a juvenile one there. The one on top of the horns at the moment is a juvenile, but the other 3 are all yellow-billed. Now, between the 2 species, the red-billed and the yellow-billed oxpecker, the yellow-billed is a bit rarer. We don't see them all that often down here. Their numbers... No, there we go. So apparently at Djuma, they don't often see the yellow-billed either. I would say, look, their numbers are improving. I think they did try and, do a whole lot of research and conservation efforts for the yellow-billed oxpecker further north from where we are now. And because of that, they obviously did quite well. And the yellow-billed have now been expanding further and further south through this whole protected area. So their numbers have gone up in and around andBeyond Ngala, as you can see here. I've never seen 3 of them on one buffalo before, so that is very, very cool. Cobalt, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it must be very ticklish and irritating to have these birds in your ears, your eyes, your nostrils. I mean, have a look there. You can see it's a bit hard with the light.
But I reckon better that than ticks.
But, there's one bird in his ear. But yes, I agree with Marcel. Rather birds than ticks. So it's a good relationship. I'd rather be ticklish than be covered in ticks. So I think he's winning. Look at the buffalo, doesn't look too disturbed. He's just sort of hanging around there. But yes, Marcel came up with a good point now, saying it's amazing how the birds can just hold on, whether they're upside down, sideways, however, they just cling on with their claws. But I think, what a splendid morning. Nice little finish for us with these 2 buffaloes. Good to know Rowan's job is actually useful. But thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully this afternoon here on andBeyond Ngala we're a bit more fruitful. But thank you for joining us. Have a lovely day or night. And we will see you this afternoon.